going into the family business, I'm thinking I'm going to like step into like a thing, right? I'm going to take over the family business. We're going to do really well, make a lot of money, you know. And instead, I step into what once was a great business and now is like completely upside down, almost bankrupt. We had over $10 million in debt in 1994.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm 23 years old.
Wow.
Right? Like, and I get put into this position of like, okay, and because my parents were, they're still together and they're much better now, but they didn't get along in good times. So you can only imagine really bad times, how bad it was. So my dad was just like, fix it. Fix it? I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, I am not qualified for this. I'm so far not qualified for this. And every day was just disaster. And that's how I lived for like probably about a good year and a half. And one day I just had this kind of like a epiphany kind of moment. Everything started turning around.
Welcome to this episode of Fighting Spirits, a Zenki Dojo podcast. Join Sensei Tim Santos, an LA-born and bred Gracie Jiu-Jitsu black belt, for raw, real-life stories of setbacks, comebacks, and fighting the good fight. Today's guest is Peter Kim, entrepreneur, founder, and all-around creative force. Peter started, built, and sold multiple brands, including the iconic Hudson Jeans, and his latest venture, DRGN, is a lifestyle brand created in partnership with the Bruce Lee family. From business to martial arts to giving back, Peter's all about living with purpose, and his energy is sure to inspire. Let's do this.
Are we on?
Are we gone? All right. That's a good start.
We're going.
All right. So, tell us who you are, what you are, and where you are in this point of Peter Kim's life.
I'm 50. I'll be 54 this year.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm. I guess from a career perspective, I'm in the apparel space. Mm-hmm. Been in it for since '94. So what was that 30 years? Mm-hmm. 30 years. Started in a family business. So maybe I'll just go back. Born and raised in LA. Actually over at Hollywood Presbyterian. Moved into this neighborhood, Los Feliz area, in 1977. So I was like 6. I went to elementary school here, Franklin.
Oh, you went to Franklin?
I went to Franklin from 2nd grade to 6.
Wow.
So my parents lived in K-Town. Yeah. Well, I'll start even way back, further back. Both my parents are from North Korea, born in 40 and 42. So in their youth, war, conflict, and all that was happening, and they became refugees into the South. And then in the early 60s, they became immigrants here to LA. And, classic immigrant story. They had no money, like a suitcase full of clothes, pocket had some money, and lived in K-Town. They did whatever jobs they could, bussing tables, parking cars and so forth. And so I was born here in 1970. A Hollywood Presbyterian, still lived in Koreatown down by Olympic and Normandy. They moved out of the neighborhood and went into Hancock Park. So I went to, I started school at 3rd Street Elementary School. I think that's still the name. And the funny thing is, born and raised here, when I first went in, I went to ESL because I couldn't speak English. My parents freak out. So, they started speaking to me in English only, but their English is super broken. So, and it was from that they moved into this neighborhood in 1977. And what the business that they had was they started a women's blouse company. Missy Moderate Career Polyester Blouses is the exact category. And they ended up creating this incredible life for themselves. They in the 70s and 80s, as working women, as that was becoming a thing, dual income, they were making the polyester blouses that went under women's suits. So Back then, like silk was the good stuff, like the high end stuff, and then polyester was the everyday working person. So they made blouses for like the secretaries, bank tellers, that. And back then, everybody wore suits, so they created and they had hookups and connects back into Korea, so they were able to do manufacturing there very early, and they created this incredible business life here. So they were living like this, and like the American dream type. So me and my brother grew up really privileged. I grew up in a wealthy home, had everything that we had needed, and so forth. But interesting thing is that I don't really have happy memories as a kid, and because my parents were working all the time, and when they weren't working and with us, so they weren't with us often, so we were classic latchkey kids.
I see.
And then when they were with us, they were always fighting, right? So we grew up in a really like toxic house.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't are they gonna fight today? It's when are they gonna fight?
Oh.
So right, it could be before we left the house. It could be in the garage, in the car backing out, at the restaurant at some point. And the worst I realized was, if they didn't fight all day, that was the worst. Because then it's like they're going to fight at home and we're going to have to deal with it. So I think that was the beginnings of it. And then on top of that, my dad's like a really, really tough dude.
Yeah.
When he says, I walked 10 miles barefoot in the snow, I'm like, yeah, he definitely walked 10 miles barefoot in the snow. The story I always tell about him, because to me it puts things in perspective, is like, they had a wig shop back in early 70s. I guess wigs were like a big thing then. And, when the alarm would go off, he would go down to check out what's happening, security. And one of the nights he went down, the burglars were still there, and they shot him in the face. I think it was like a low caliber, like a 22 or something. So, emergency room, the whole thing. He survived. And then later on, the office was in downtown LA, and back then, I mean, it's still pretty bad now, but back then it was like worse than Gotham. It was like the underbelly of Gotham City is how bad it was.
Yeah.
And when the alarm would go off, he would still go down to go check it out. And then when I was old enough, he'd take me with him. Yeah. And I'm like 13, 14, right? And I'm like, talk about soft. Like, I'm soft. I'm really scared. What the hell are we doing? Are you out of your mind? And my dad would always be like, you gotta basically shut up, get your shit together. This is our livelihood. We gotta come protect our and then, years later, I'm looking at photos. I'm like, hey, Dad's got like this underbite, like his face looks totally different. Mom's like, what do you mean? He got surgery. I go, surgery for what? What? You got plastic surgery? She goes, no, he got shot. You think most people would be like, I'm not doing that ever again. Not only did he keep doing it, he'd take me with him, like a son with him, right? So put things in perspective of how he was. So them having like this unhealthy relationship and us having to live through that, and then him being the way he was, it was really difficult as a kid. So I think it's one of those moments to learn that money isn't happiness. It's not necessarily happiness, because we were really, really unhappy. We were a really unhappy family. Like, me and my brother were miserable, and my dad made me feel really stupid, because later I found out I have extreme ADHD, but I'm born in 1970, so back in those days that was not a thing, right? You're like either you're smart and they're gonna focus on you and give you the attention, or you're not, and then they put you in the corner and just like So I fit into the dumb bucket, and my dad's super smart on top of that, so he would constantly tell me like, "Oh, you're stupid, you're dumb, what's wrong with you?"
He would say those words.
Oh yeah. Like like you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And then you go to school. I don't understand the material. I don't get good grades. The school saying I'm stupid. The report cards come in going, "Oh, you're pretty stupid." So bought into all that, and so I had a lot of issues. I probably still have a lot of issues, but growing up, a lot of anger issues, a lot of insecurity, a lot of my insecurities and lack of self-worth turned into anger. A lot of trouble, a lot of fights. So that's how our childhood was. And it's almost like, and I think this is a common thing where we were latchkey kids. So we're like, the people we hung out with and kind of like the areas was not good, right? It was really, and again, in the 80s, 90s, it's a different place, right? Like K-Town, we would be in Koreatown all the time, and at that time everybody's gangbanging, like everybody, right? Every night we go out, there's fights, there's going down. And most of the times I would tell people, if you're not Korean, don't go into Koreatown, especially at night. Even if you are Korean, if you are not connected and know people, don't come in there. So that's how that was our youth. And then we go home to like a really nice house and go to nice schools, and it's kind of, I guess, funny. In a way. And then I went to SMU in Dallas, which in 1988, a Korean American kid with a lot of issues going to Dallas, Texas. That's like, whoa. I'm not sure it was the smartest move, because it was not a good place for me. I don't regret it, because definitely learned a lot, and it was an interesting experience. But then came back, finished out here at USC, and basically that's how I started my career. As I'm finishing out USC, going into the family business, I'm thinking I'm gonna like step into like a thing, right? I'm gonna take over the family business. We're gonna do really well, make a lot of money, blah blah blah. And instead, I step into what once was a great business, and now is like completely upside down, almost bankrupt. We had over $10 million in debt in 1994.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm 23 years old.
Wow.
Right? Like, you have like the millennials and Gen Z, how there's that stereotype of lazy, no work ethic, so forth and so forth. Like, I tell people this all the time. I'm like, I'm the pioneer of that. Like, I was like the king of that. And I get put into this position of like, okay, and because my parents were, they're still together, and they're much better now, but they are still together. And they didn't get along in good times. So you can only imagine really bad times, how bad it was. So my dad was just like, fix it. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I am not qualified for this. I'm so far not qualified for this. Are you kidding me? Like, I graduated school with like a C average. Like, what are you talking about? And every one of my, like the judge and all the saboteurs inside my head and all the demons are coming out going, you're an idiot. There's no way you're going to do this. Like, I'm just feeling sorry for myself and pity. And that's how I lived for like probably about a good year and a half. And one day I just had this kind of like a epiphany kind of moment. I'm driving down the 10 freeway. It's like 95. 96 maybe, and one of those, and every day was just disaster. Like, when you think nothing else could go wrong, you come into the office like, this is new. Like, you every day it's like problems that you could never even imagine were happening. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. So I left the office, and all of a sudden kind of like had this moment, I don't know, divine intervention or whatever. It's just like I'm having this conversation with myself now going, like, what are you bitching about? Like, what's the problem? And it's like, well, how bad is it really? I mean, if you take a step back, your parents came into this country with nothing. Look at what they've created. And you take a little bit further step back, the whole Korean American community, same story. And you keep pulling back, and it's like, well, look at this country. It's the same story. A bunch of immigrants that came into this country with nothing, and in a very short period of time has created this. So it helped me take a big step back, take a deep breath, and say, well, what is my problem? And I felt weak. I felt like embarrassed for myself. Right?
Yeah.
Like, what are you complaining about, man? It's not that bad. And my dad always used to tell me, you gotta live like your back is against a cliff. Burn down the boats. There's only one way to go, forward, and you do everything you can to go forward. And I finally really understood what that meant. I'm like, you know what? If I fail right now, who's gonna blame me? This is like the mid '90s. People going bankrupt. They're doing Chapter 11. They're, dumping their shit and starting up somewhere else and blah blah blah. I'm like, well, I'm like 24. I'm 25 years old. No one's gonna blame me for this. No one's gonna hold me responsible. But then I thought, but if I can fix this, if I can get around this, I'm gonna be like a hero. So in my mind, I'm thinking, oh man, I am in like a no lose. I have everything to gain, nothing to lose. So it really helped me change my perspective of like, all right, let's just give it everything I got. Like, let's put it all out there. And the mentality that I took was just like, it's like a fight, right? Like, I'm going to do everything I possibly can. And the only way you're going to shut me up is you're going to have to kill me. Right? Like, that's it. The other thing I really learned was how important perspective is, because, everything was exactly the same, but completely different. No more feeling sorry for myself. No more bullshit. Now is more like, how can I fix this? How can I? It's like a game. It's like a challenge, and it became fun, right? And learning about, I think, one, just the mindset of kind of like that monster mindset, and then understanding like perspective of how important perspective is, and then just understanding like with that perspective, the key to life, I think, is just helping solve problems. Right? And the other thing is just like pain threshold and pain tolerance, I think, is like the key to life. The higher those two things are, the farther you're going to go, because the majority of people, it's very low. So you don't even have to do that much. To win. Again, just in whatever you're doing. So everything started turning around. Everything started, and we're just chipping away one day at a time, one step at a time, just breaking down. We had over $10 million in. We had a product that was irrelevant in the marketplace, because this is the '90s now, and the workwear world was changing. Right. Instead of, it was dress on Fridays, dress on every days. Then they had over $10 million in debt. Right. They had a infrastructure that wasn't built for hard times, right? Because they were always doing well. So, and the staff was like, it was like 95% Koreans. And I mean, not like Korean Americans, but like Koreans. English second language, like older dudes with a short sleeve shirt with a tie, that kind of stuff, And then my parents didn't get along, so that was another challenge. And then they had a real estate. They had a massive real estate portfolio, which they were losing everything. Everything was just getting repossessed, foreclosed, so forth. I mean, it's pretty sad and hard to think about, because if they were able to just maintain what they had back then, it'd probably easily be worth over $400-500 million today.
Wow.
I mean, they had property all over Koreatown, like apartment units. They had a couple places in Hawaii, New York, Palm Springs, like just insane. Industrial buildings all over downtown LA. And they lost pretty much everything. Wow. So I always kid around with my kids. I'm like, you know what? If they didn't lose it, I wouldn't be doing this. I'd probably be managing property. I'd probably be on my bicycle, like with a backpack with a bell going ding, 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 put the money in the backpack, walking around collecting rent. But that didn't happen. So, and then the final straw, or the final piece, my parents personally guaranteed a family member's Kawasaki dealership. Like, motorcycles, jet skis. They go bankrupt.
They co-signed? Is that what?
Yeah, they personally guaranteed it, like co-signed, And they go bankrupt without telling my parents. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So then they dumped that bill on top. So now dealing with all the business issues, dealing with my parents issues, dealing with the real estate stuff, and then trying to fight off Kawasaki as well.
Yeah.
But then, just started picking away at it. And by the late 90s, finally got everything right-sized and started moving, started paying down debts. And one of the things that we had a controller at the time, which he had his desk controller, like the accounting guy, finance, his desk had a pot, the paper was like that. Because every time something came in, he just put it on his desk. And the thing was like literally a mound, like this high of paper, a mountain of paper. And I look at it going, dude, are those bills? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, do we need to do something about this? He was like, what? We don't have money. I know, but at least we got to call them. Yeah. And say, wow, we don't have money. I go, yeah, exactly that. And, we did not see eye to eye on that. And so then, he wasn't with us much longer. So I had to take over that role of, the finance and operations. So, first thing I did was filed everything, right? Organized it. And then I just started calling, vendors, obviously starting from the biggest down. And one of the biggest debts that we had was to our landlord in New York. We had this big showroom space, and we couldn't move quick enough to downsize, and we owed him like $300,000, something like that. And so I'm like, I'm gonna go negotiate this. So I fly out to New York. It's I think wintertime because I had a big coat on and my suit. I get into the office. His name was Leon Charney, and as I get there, and he owns like massive buildings in New York, right? And I have no idea what I'm dealing with. I step in his office and I see like he's got pictures with Jimmy Carter, and the peace talks with Israel. Like he wrote a book, and I'm going, oh my God, I think I'm like really way in over my head right now. Because my strategy was I'm going to come in there, play hardball, and I'm going to get this whole thing cut down to nothing. Now it's like before a fight, right? I'm just like, before I'm all confident, I step in, I'm like, holy, I can't do this. Like, what's going on here? He calls me in, and, I walk into his office. He goes, have a seat. I'm like, I'm okay. And he goes, well, what can I do for you? I go, well, we owe you a lot of money. I'm sure you know this. And you got to let me off of this debt. Because if you don't, we're going to all get in trouble. And he's like, well, why would I do that? I go, well, we can go bankrupt, and, that wouldn't be good. Yeah. And he goes, and it was like a Jedi mind trick. He was just like, you don't want to go bankrupt? What are you talking about? I'm like, okay, you're right. You're right. So he goes, have a seat. So I sit down, and literally, probably in like 20 minutes, on a notepad, we pencil out, because he looked at me and goes, why are you talking to me like that? Yeah. Why don't we sit down and talk like with respect? Respect each other. You don't have to do that. Just let's figure out what the problem is, and let's see how we can, if there's a better way to solve this. Takes out literally one of his stationaries with, how about boom, boom, boom. And he pencils out a 5-year deal. You pay me in 5 years, X amount. He's like, can you handle this payment? I go, I think so. You can stay in the building. We'll put you in a smaller place so you can still do business. We'll break it down like this. Here's 5 years. Here's a 5-year attached to a 5-year lease, and then you can have an extension of another 5 years so you can pay out the balance. You pay an interest rate. It's fair. I'm not going to gouge you. It's a fair interest rate. Can you do this? I'm just going, yeah, I think I can. Yeah. So I came back with that. I was like, oh, what happened? I go, well, it didn't go to zero, but we made a deal, and I ended up paying it off in the first 5 years. He ended up becoming like a mentor for me for a little bit, because so every time I go to New York, I call him up. He'd always come out with me and take me out to lunch and talk to me and so forth. So that was a really amazing experience where, I think for me, I learned, and what I was taught was just like, you don't have to be I was calling people saying, I can't pay you, but we do have a plan. I just need you to be patient with me, and I will keep you up to date. I will let you know what's happening so you're not in the dark. I just can't pay you right now. And people would be like, thank you. I'm like, ooh, what are you thanking me about? I owe you a lot of money. I'm telling you I can't pay you. It's like, just thanks for reaching out and, talking to us. And I realized that I think for the most part, especially if you try to do the right things and live your life with respect and honor. The majority of people always want to help you out.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what I experienced where, I mean, I think I was very lucky and fortunate that my parents had a great reputation because they were always, did the right things. And even at that point, the common thing to do was people just went bankrupt because it was an easy way to dump debt. And my dad was just like, he's like, look, this is our debt. We owe, this is ours. Like, it's not somebody else's. So we got to do everything we can to pay this off and do what we have to do. So, and if we can't, fine. But we can. So let's just give it every effort. So I was also really fortunate that, they had already set a good example and in the industry and the community. So was able to, negotiate all the debt, get the product rearranged, redone. And by like 98, 99, things started becoming right, making money, it was profitable. And then at that point is where I was like, oh, I love the fashion space.
Yeah.
So I look at fashion as like, I believe fashion is one of the most powerful tools we human beings have. And, I think a lot of people think like it's irrelevant, it's stupid, we're not curing cancer, blah, blah, blah. And I've actually said in past, I'm like, I think we can cure cancer or be a part of, and people are like, whoa, how can you say that? I'm like, well, let's take fashion for what it is. I believe it's like one of the greatest tools that we have for expression, self-expression, right? It's like what we wear, and every single person is about fashion and is about what they wear. I mean, even if you don't wear clothes, you're about fashion. You're making a statement saying, I don't wear clothes. So from the truest, most core foundational sense, fashion isn't like the brands or the labels or anything. It's self-expression. So yes, it's unfortunate that a lot of people in the industry, in our space, have made it what it is, like stupid and ridiculous and stuff like that. But to me, I think it's one of the most powerful tools. So for me, I went from women's blouses to streetwear. I started a young men's streetwear company called Drunken Monkey in '99. And then I started a premium denim company in 2002, Hudson Jeans. Sold Drunken Monkey in 2003. Had a 2-year thing with that, with the new guys. The group that I sold it to was Fubu, not Damon the guys, but his partners. So had these two guys as partners, got to know Damon pretty well, and unfortunately we didn't get to partner up, but it was partners with his partners. And then that went about 2 years, and then really focused on the Hudson business in like 2005. And then just, it was the early stages of premium denim and what was coming up, and so we were right on that emerging space, and was able to build this company into a pretty sizable company, and then 2009 ended up selling the business. What was interesting was, in 2008, I was like, you know what? I am so sick and tired of this industry. I'm burnt out. I need to get out of here. I want to sell this company. And my goal was I was going to sell it for maximum dollars, maximum percentage, and I was going to move to Hawaii. And there's in Waikiki, I was going to move to Oahu. And I was either going to be a cabana boy at one of the resort hotels, or I was going to work at the Haagen-Dazs on Waikiki. And, people were like, what? You're going to buy Haagen-Dazs? I'm like, no, you're not listening to me. I'm going to work at the Haagen-Dazs. I'm going to scoop ice cream. I'm going to surf in the morning, take my kids to school, scoop ice cream, put that scooper back in the water thing, go home, pick up the kids, and hang out.
Yeah.
And that was what I was going to do. And what's interesting is, as you, in the process of selling the company, you have to package it up and sell the dream, right? You got to sell like this thing. And as we're doing this, I came to realize, like, I'm not burnt out of the industry. I'm actually disgusted with what I'd become, because what happened was I became everything that I swore I wouldn't be. Which is, there was a dream, there was a vision, there was what this company was supposed to represent, and instead of becoming that, I let in questionable people but they were really good at what they did. So the business was cranking from a sales and money sense, but the culture was really like a couple of guys were just really toxic people. Like they would treat people horribly. And it's embarrassing to even admit this, but like people come to me saying, hey, can you talk to this dude? This guy's really horrible. And I would say, well, I mean, do you disagree with what he's saying or how he's saying it? And it's like, well, I mean, he's got points. He's just really nasty about it. I'm like, well, why don't you just kind of fix whatever the problem is, and maybe he won't talk to you like that.
Yeah.
You know, that was kind of like the mindset that I had. And for whatever reason, people never put it on me, which is kind of weird, right? Because I was like the worst. I was like a wolf in sheep's clothing. I had him out there representing, and I was the guy in the back, just, you know, nice and, you know, doing the shaking hands and hugging and kissing people. I don't know. Maybe they did put it together, but, you know, no one like in my face. I'm like, okay, whatever. So as we sold the company, I realized as we're selling it, oh, that's what I'd become.
Yeah, yeah.
So shifted everything to, okay, I don't want to scoop ice cream. I don't want to sell maximum. I need to find the right partners to align with to help take the company to a different place. So I ended up selling 60% of the company to Fireman Capital Partner, and it was Paul Fireman, who's Reebok, and his son Dan Fireman. And they started a private equity fund, and we were their first investment. And I always say I got spoiled into the private equity world because they were technically a private equity thing, but they were farthest from. You know, they were, when you look at it, it's the Fireman guys, family, Paul and his son Dan. They built Reebok, right? This is like one of the most, especially back in the days. At one point, they were bigger than Nike. Yeah. So I was able to sit down with a bona fide like billionaire marketing, branding genius, right? And got to sit with him and pick his brain and bounce things off of him. And he would listen, like he'd sit there and make time with me and just not just hear blah 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 blah. He'd you know, we'd kick ideas back and forth, and he'd go, you need to go back and work more on this stuff. So it was a phenomenal partnership. And then 2009 to 2013, we just exploded. Like there was that whole financial meltdown in 2008, 9, 10, and as most of the world was burning, we were just growing like crazy. Like I think it was the moment that we really put our flag in the ground, and it was an interesting thing because as people are losing their minds, right, they're like panicking and stuff. My thought was, well, not all companies are bad, right? Yeah. So then, you know, a simple Google search, like during the Great Depression, did anybody do well? And I was like, look at this, like some iconic brands were born in the Great Depression. Yeah. A bunch of companies. And I'm like, well, look, these people really did well. Yeah. In fact, it was this crazy, horrible environment that they were able to rise out of. So taking the same kind of attitude, and we came out like, because everybody was running for the hills, and our inside joke was like, we're the ones lighting the village on fire, like forcing everybody to run for the hills. So we because after 2010, we exploded in 2011, and then just kept going into 2012 and 13. And then ended up selling the company again in end of 2013, because it was just such a big win for the Fireman family, and ended up selling it to a competitor in the public space. That was a horrible deal. It's just they're bad people. Our outlook in life just was, and of course business from that, complete misalignment. So it fell apart pretty fast. We tried to buy the company back. That wasn't going to happen because it was so hostile, and then aligned with another private equity group and help take control of the business. That was end of 2015. I ended up running the company for one more year, and then it was just too much differences in how to build. So ended up just completely separating finally in mid 2017. And then from there, took a little bit of time to reflect and reassess, like, what am I going to do? And it was, what I realized at that point, it was like, it was really hard, right? And emotionally. And what I I was really angry. Like, I wanted revenge. And what I ended up realizing is, I was like that 10-year-old kid again, the adult saying that you're not good enough, the adult saying you're stupid, get out of here. So realizing that, and then also realizing these people, it's not personal. These finance guys, these private equity guys, all these money guys, what they did to me, I took it very personal. And then when I realized that it's not personal, this is the way they are.
Yeah.
It was almost like, I wish it was personal. It would have made it better. Because at least there's a beef between me and this person, and this is why they're behaving like this. But it was, no, you're just another one.
Yeah.
This is how they behave with everybody.
Right.
It made it a little bit better, I guess. It made it better because it's not that, but it's also kind of sad, right? Because this is how they operate.
Yeah.
And I realized it's like, I'm sitting there going, what's wrong with you guys? Like, why do you do this?
Yeah.
Only to realize all of them are looking at me going, what's wrong with you? Right. You're one of us now. Get with the program. Come on, this is what we do. You know that. You signed on the dotted line. I signed. You told me I can take this money and I get to run this company the way I've been running it. You just give me more resources. You did not tell me that meant only if I run it the way you want to run it.
Yeah.
Like, why would I bet my life on you? You've never ran a denim company.
Yeah.
You've never ran a company.
Yeah.
And one time I was joking. I go, I could probably tell you that denim doesn't come on rolls anymore. It comes in square blocks. And you probably believe me. And they're like, oh, it doesn't? I'm like, yeah. Like, you've never been in a factory. You've never been to fabric. You don't know how the fabric's made. You have no idea. And you're going to tell me how to run this company?
Yeah.
Like, I'm all for learning and hearing more stuff, but wow, you can't tell me that this is wrong.
Yeah.
This is wrong. Like, one of the things that, like as an example, we had a huge turnaround in 2016, 15 to 16. We went from like a minus $2 million EBITDA number to a plus 9. And that's $11 million on profit. Not even on sales, on profit. And I'm laying down the plan for 2017, and they're like, and I'm like, okay, we can't celebrate. It's too early. Still a ton of work to do. We've been really dysfunctional for a couple of years. We have to invest back into a creative product design infrastructure. And as I'm laying out the plan for 2017, I was like, I think we should do 9, stay even. And they're like, no, you can't. You got to show growth. I go, I'm going to show you growth, apples to apples. It'll be equivalent to like doing 11, 12, but I want to hold back and invest money back into the company. And they're like, you can't do that. I'm like, what do you mean? But why? It's like, we have to show growth. I'm like, why? And they kept saying, well, you don't understand the public markets. I'm like, what do you mean I don't understand the public markets? This is how I understand it. You and I own the majority of the shares. Like, the price of the average volume of trading on our company was like 3,000 shares a day. Mm-hmm. The price of the stock was like $5. I'm like, I'm the largest individual shareholder of this company as an individual. I'm like, it would take me like 3 years to sell mine at this volume. And the reason for that is because you and I own the majority, and there's no float in the market. There's not enough shares to be traded. I'm like, so do I have to put up these crazy numbers because you want to get out? And they're like, no, we're long term. I go, oh, great, so am I. So who cares what happens next year? Like, as long as we keep building a healthy company, we're looking at 2, 3, 4 years from now, right? Like, no, that's not the way it works. I'm like, well, tell me how it works. They go, we need to do 15. I'm like, 15? How do you propose we do that? And this was it. my whole career, as long as I could, as long as the we're making money, I paid for 100% of my employees' medical insurance and their families.
Wow.
Right? So every time they would cut, all the different groups would come in, this is crazy. I'm like, what's so crazy about it? It's actually, to me, I think it's smart. Number one, we're taking care of our people. Number two, we don't want people, we got to make sure that they're healthy.
Yeah.
Because if they're not healthy, they're not here. So it's like a win-win for everybody. Their families, I'm like, yeah, because I don't want this person worried about their kid.
Yeah.
Right? They need to know if the more they feel secure that their family is going to be healthy, then it's better for everybody. It's not that much more.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we should make them pay for some of this. I'm like, you want to make these numbers by taking away from the employees? You're crazy. And they're like, yeah, we should do that. I'm like,
wow.
And I was like, how do you want me to deliver that message?
Yeah.
Because I won't. I can't do that. And at that point, I looked at the guy and go, so are you going to pay for it too? Are we paying for it as well? And he got mad. He got mad at me. Like, he was just, oh, yeah, I work all my life. I deserve this. Da, 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 da. I'm like, whoa, dude. And then I think he realized, oh, and he kind of like, whoa, you deserve it too. I'm like, hey, man, I'm just saying, if we're going to try to do this, we should take from everybody, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, the thing that I realized is, like, it was my mistake. Hyenas are always going to be hyenas, right? My mistake was I was expecting hyenas to behave like lions. And that's just stupid.
Yeah.
Like, shame on me for expecting that to happen, not recognize, oh, they are what they are.
Yeah.
That's what they are. So, you know, hence started this new company, Golden Circle Group, and you know, the whole base and foundation of this is just going back to building companies that actually, the intent is to add value, right? Add value to the customers' lives, and really, the most fundamental and basic is how do we help our customers solve their problems? And I think if we can do that consistently, then that's a good business and it's a good brand, and we're doing something positive.
Yeah.
And we make money.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody wins. So that's a long way to answer your question of what I do, who I am, and where I'm at right now.
Where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're circling to the golden circle.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's my whole life I've always been like, I want to change the world. I want to change the world. I got to do something that can, you know, change the world. And as the old saying goes, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my world. I'm going to create my own world.
Right.
And just make sure that everybody in it, we all share, you know, similar values and so forth. And if we can make this big enough, it's self-sustaining. Like, we don't have to go outside of here to do it, and that's become the bigger or the new mission.
Yeah. You pretty much kind of answered the question I was going to ask with there's been studies recently of high performing people.
Mm-hmm.
I think you know you're one of them.
Yeah.
Where I'm gonna add myself into that.
Yeah.
Yes. That most of us that have this, like, you called it the monster mindset, right? We've gone through a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you kind of told me about pretty much with your dad.
Yeah.
I think that's because my question is, how do you stay so resilient? Even in training, I see it. Do you recognize that? Like, that's kind of you have that mindset because of some of the things your dad has put you through or said to you.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I always say, I feel like I've said, at least the way I used to think is, and I do think it's like, I don't have talent. Like, I'm not really good at math. I'm not really good at art, or I'm not super physical. There's nothing that I have that's above and beyond normal,
Yeah.
average, right? So the way I thought about it is like, well, what am I going to do? And I was like, well, you know what? I'll just have to work harder and endure more pain than anybody else. I can do that. Because that's to me, I think anybody can do that.
Yeah.
That's probably the greatest equalizer because everybody's capable of that.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna outlive everybody, survive. I'll go to the point where most people will quit and keep going. You know, I told my kids, as their kid, they were going to college back in 2000. It was like the summer 2019, and one of my daughters, she's like, wants to be a writer. She goes, well, what if I don't make it? And I'm like, what does that mean? I haven't even started school yet.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you know, writers are known to not make money. And I'm like, okay, but you haven't started yet. Just give it a shot. And she's like, yeah, but I'm really concerned that, like, what if it doesn't work out? I go, well, you're passionate about this. You love it. You're good at it. She's like, yes, obviously. I go, okay, so you just got to keep going until it happens. And she's like looking at me, not quite getting it. And I looked at her, I go, okay, how about this? I was grinding for 15 years. Grinding and for 15 years. And I had no idea if I was going to make it or not.
Yeah.
And then one day, it happened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah.
And she's looking at me going, 15 years? Right. And I guess I can understand it because she's like 18 at that point, 17. Yeah, it's like your whole life.
Yeah.
I've been grinding pretty much your whole life.
Yeah.
I just think it's pretty simple, I think.
Yeah.
You just, as we know, like, no matter what we think, for the most part, there's always more we can do.
Yeah.
Right? When we think it's over, we can still do more.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
And, it's just pain tolerance, pain threshold.
Yeah.
That's, to me, like, everything.
Yeah.
And I just always try to make sure that, I used to ride bicycles, road bikes a lot, and I was much heavier, and it was hard, right? Especially going uphill. And as I'm, like, dying, something I heard, I think it was Greg LeMond or somebody, what they think about is, if it's hard for me, it's hard for them. And it always stuck with me going, oh, yeah. So it's a pure will.
Yeah.
Guts, resilience, just like who's going to last longer. And it's just, it's kind of like the mentality I picked up. And I to your point, I think a lot of it does have to do with my father.
Yeah.
Like it was insane how hard he would push.
Yeah.
And the part that I work on a lot is because I had to filter out a lot of how he was saying and how he was making me feel. So I was just picking up the content of what's he saying. Is it correct?
I see what you mean. Yeah.
But I had to work really hard to separate the emotional part from the content of what the message was. And I find that one of the things I have to work on a lot is I can become very cold, hyper rational, as they call it, because I'm like, what are you sad about? Suck it up. Like, and I do think it's probably the best way to look at it, just as objective as possible. But the reality is we're human beings and we all have feelings, and we gotta be. Empathy is a very powerful thing. So it's something that I have to really work on a lot on, to make sure that I don't get overly, just ignore people's emotional pieces of it and just be like, fix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll probably have to do a part 2 on your talking about your training.
Yeah.
And how it translates in your life as a entrepreneur, CEO.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, shit. I've told you forever since the beginning. What's it been now? 9 years,
Yeah,
right?
10
Like,
years.
I'll say this to every single night. Here, this place saved my life, right? Because I was I was in such, I didn't grow at all from an emotional place.
Yeah.
Right? I was still very angry. I had a chip on my shoulder. I was like, I wanted to prove the world. I wanted to fight with the world, and I used to think that was a strength, right? And yeah, I'm 40. I was 45 at the time, and 45. I have full blown kids that are like 15 years old. A full blown company with a lot of people, family, a lot to lose, and I wouldn't start anything. But if anybody ever looked at me wrong, I'm like the first guy. You want to go? Like get on the road rage, the market, whatever. And I mean, I think about back then, going, wow, that was nuts. But you know, it's because I was the greatest. One of the biggest things that I learned here is the spotlight and exposing how insecure I still was. Right? Like I thought by accomplishing so many things, I'd feel better about myself, and and certain things that made me feel a little bit better, but it didn't take away the insecurity of feeling weak or inadequate or stupid or any of those things. Because why would I do some of the things I did?
Yeah.
And I realized, oh, you don't ever want to feel weak or like, and I could be scared out of my mind, but I'm not gonna show it. Like I gotta front like I'm a tough guy and stuff.
Right.
And doing stupid stuff for nothing.
Yeah. We'll make a part 2.
Yeah, okay.
We still got a lot to talk about.
All right.
That's it for this episode of Fighting Spirits from Zenki Dojo Media. See you next time. And until then, keep fighting the good fight.